Watch the night Michael Jordan reminded the NBA why he was simply unstoppable. On January 11th, 1997, Michael Jordan faced 3 Hall of Famers, Barkley, Olajuwon, and Drexler, and put on a masterclass. 1. Stakes of the game. And right from tip-off, the stakes were sky high. This wasn't just another regular season game. Chicago had a three-peat in motion, but Houston was hungry, trying for their 3rd consecutive championship. You could feel the tension just looking at the lineups. Bulls fans buzzing with excitement. Rockets fans daring to hope their team might finally dethrone the king. During Jordan's absence, Houston had basically ruled the NBA. They were dominant on both ends of the floor, and the idea of Charles Barkley, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Clyde Drexler all in one lineup was enough to make any fan nervous. But MJ knew exactly what was on the line. Legacy isn't just about rings, it's about respect, fear, and the stories people tell decades later. If the Rockets won, the Bulls' three-peat could feel like ancient history. Everyone was watching. This was a battle for bragging rights, a message to the entire league. 2. Rockets' super team setup. Now let's talk about the Rockets. This was the peak super team before that term became trendy. Charles Barkley had just arrived from Phoenix, bringing MVP level dominance in the paint. Hakeem Olajuwon was already a legend, a 1994 MVP and NBA champion, capable of dismantling any defense. And then there was Clyde Drexler, flashy, smooth, and the perfect sidekick to Hakeem's brute force post game. Rudy Tomjanovich believed this lineup could finally take down the Bulls. Every matchup was strategically designed. Barkley's post scoring, Hakeem's footwork and fadeaways, and Drexler stretching the floor and hitting open shots. On paper, it looked unstoppable. The Rockets were ready to send a message: we're the team to beat now. And honestly, watching them warm up that night, the energy in the arena screamed it. They weren't just confident, they were downright electric, and every fan in Houston dared to dream. 3. Bulls' response to Super Team. But then came the Bulls' answer. Michael Jordan returned, not just to play, but to protect his legacy. This wasn't a comeback, it was a statement. He had Scottie Pippen, who had grown into one of the league's most versatile playmakers during MJ's absence. And Dennis Rodman, maybe the most unconventional protector you'd ever see, was back, grabbing every rebound, disrupting plays, and guarding Barkley with that mix of physicality and mind games only he could pull off. Chemistry mattered more than stats here. Chicago wasn't just about individual talent, they moved like a unit. They shared the ball, read the court, and made each possession count. Jordan understood that even with all the talent Houston had, a coordinated, smart, and hungry Bulls squad could dismantle them piece by piece. Every subtle nod, every cut to the basket, and every defensive rotation told a story. Chicago was ready, and MJ wasn't about to let anyone steal the spotlight. 4. Game start and early action. And here's where it all kicks off. The tip hits, and you could feel the crowd vibrating with anticipation. Pippen wastes no time. Right off the first play, he throws down a hard putback dunk, letting everyone know the Bulls are not here to mess around. That dunk set the tone like a warning shot across Houston's bow. Michael's game? Already on another level. His playmaking had sharpened during his absence. He was finding mid-range shooters perfectly, threading passes that seemed impossible, but don't get it twisted. The Rockets were massive in the paint. Barkley and Hakeem were punishing the Bulls early, asserting their dominance. You could hear the oohs and ahs from the crowd every time they scored. And yet, Michael wasn't fazed for a second. Fadeaway after fadeaway, low post moves that seemed effortless. He answered every Rockets bucket with his own. The message was clear. No matter the challenge, Jordan would strike back immediately. 5. Jordan's offensive mastery. This part blew my mind. Jordan was doing things that made you question reality. He was everywhere. Elbows, low blocks, mid-range fadeaways, hitting shots that should have been impossible. The footwork was ridiculous. I mean, weaving between defenders, banking shots off the glass with precision, making it look casual. It was like watching a magician at work. Even when the Rockets threw double or triple teams at him, it didn't matter. Jordan just found a way. Sometimes the ball moved beautifully around the court. Quick passes, screens, rotations, but inevitably it ended up in his hands. Every time he caught it, you could feel the tension spike. Would he go baseline, step back, fade away over 3 defenders? And almost every time he nailed it. There's something about watching a player in that zone. The arena held its breath. Even the Rockets' defense, Hakeem and Barkley, looked human, vulnerable. Jordan wasn't just scoring. He was dictating the flow, controlling the pace, and making the other team chase shadows. You could sense that the game was about to tilt, and the Bulls were the ones holding the scales. 6 Rockets attempts to respond. But Houston didn't fold. They tried to answer back. Drexler hits a clean 3, showing why he's one of the smoothest shooters of the era. Hakeem, the master in the post, drops a mid-range meaty shot that keeps the scoreboard honest. You could almost feel the Rockets thinking, okay, maybe we still have a chance. Their defense rotated hard on Jordan, trying to contain him, switching, doubling, and trapping. Every move was calculated, and yet forcing him into difficult shots felt like pushing a river uphill. Jordan still found angles, created space, and still made contested looks. Every time the Rockets thought they had a stop, MJ made them pay somewhere else. Another fadeaway, another pull-up, another pass that ended with a bucket. You could see the frustration in their eyes. They were talented, aggressive, and ready, but this was Jordan's night, and every response just made his brilliance shine brighter. 7 back and forth action and turnovers. And just when you thought one team might pull away, the game turned into chaos. Both teams were locking down defensively, smothering passes, switching on screens, and contesting every shot. The energy in the arena was electric, fans leaning forward, shouting with every stolen ball or blocked attempt. But with that intensity came mistakes. Silly turnovers, missed assignments, rushed shots. Each possession became precious. The Rockets weren't backing down, and neither were the Bulls. Jordan, he was everywhere, snatching steals, disrupting Houston's flow, and turning defense into instant offense. Every time he grabbed the ball, it felt like a dagger aimed straight at the Rockets' confidence. The Bulls leaned on him more than ever for critical points. It wasn't just talent, it was leadership, determination, and a statement. Jordan's presence dictated the rhythm. Houston could throw anything at him, but the scoreboards in the crowd knew who was calling the shots tonight. 8 halftime or score check. By the half, the scoreboard told a tense story. Rockets leading 43-40. Just a 3-point edge, but in a game this charged, every basket mattered. The Bulls were feeling the pressure. Chicago's legacy and their three-peat dreams all seemed fragile in the face of Houston's size and skill. In the locker room, urgency bubbled. Every player knew the second half wasn't about just playing. It was about sending a message, reasserting dominance, and showing why Jordan's Bulls weren't a team you could intimidate or outmuscle. The stakes were crystal clear. Fall behind here, and the story of this season could be rewritten. 9th third quarter resurgence. And here's where things started to shift. Pippen opens the third with a three-pointer, then nails a mid-range shot, almost imitating Jordan's rhythm and taking the wind out of the Rockets' sails. It was like he was saying, we're still in this, and we're not scared. But of course, Michael wasn't far behind. From the top of the key, fadeaways, elbows, low post, he was reclaiming the court. Every move, every shot, calculated and precise. Hakeem kept up his dominant post play, showing why he'd ruled the league during Jordan's absence. But MJ's counters made it clear, the Bulls were starting to control the pace. Gradually, the lead began to swing. Every basket felt like a tug of war, but momentum, that invisible force, was starting to favor Chicago. You could almost feel the Rockets sensing it too. The game was tilting, and Michael was leading the charge. 10 key plays and clutch moments. And this is where Jordan went full maestro. Every entry pass to him felt like the start of a highlight reel. Spin moves, pivots, fadeaways, he was carving up the Rockets with surgical precision. Dennis Rodman, ever the hustle machine, grabbed every rebound that bounced off the rim, giving Chicago second chance points and keeping the momentum firmly on their side. Then came the threes. Right wing, top of the key, fadeaways over 2 or 3 defenders. Jordan made them all. You could feel the energy in the United Center shift with each shot, the crowd erupting, and the Rockets' morale visibly dropping. Houston tried to respond, rotating defenders, but nothing slowed him down. Every possession had the Bulls gaining a little more control, every basket making the Rockets look just a step behind. By now, it wasn't just a game, it was a statement. Chicago was sending a message to the league. We are still the team to beat, and Michael Jordan is the reason why. 11. Jordan's clutch finishing. With just 3 minutes left, the Magic turned lethal. Jordan drained 3 consecutive three-pointers that felt like the work of an executioner. Calm, precise, and unstoppable. Every defender knew what was coming, and it still didn't matter. The Rockets' hope started fading right before the crowd's eyes. This wasn't just scoring, it was legacy building. The Bulls weren't just winning a regular season matchup, they were sending a playoff warning: mess with us, and this is what happens. By the final buzzer, Jordan's stat line read 32 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists. But numbers don't capture the aura, the dominance, or the sheer control he had over every aspect of the game. It was artistry disguised as athleticism, and it left everyone watching in awe. 12th outcome and legacy. Chicago walked away victorious, sending the Rockets home with their dreams of another title unfinished. The regular season win may have seemed like just another game on paper, but in context, it was monumental. The Utah Jazz emerged as the new Western power, but the Bulls. They went on to win 3 more championships from 1996 to 1998, cementing their dynasty. Jordan's performance that night wasn't just another highlight, it was a statement that defined his era. 6 total rings, unmatched dominance, and the aura of a GOAT whose legacy stretched beyond statistics. The world knew it. From the first basket to the final three-pointer, he was untouchable. And that night against Barkley, Olajuwon, and Drexler, he reminded everyone why history remembers him as the greatest to ever play the game. 13. What if analysis reflection.
Clyde was a threat. I'm not saying he wasn't a threat, but me being compared to him.
But here's the question that keeps fans debating. What if Jordan had never retired in 1994? Could the Bulls have gone 8 for 8, completely rewriting NBA history? Would Hakeem Olajuwon and the Rockets still have had their back-to-back championships? That night, Hakeem had one of his best chances to match Jordan blow for blow, yet MJ's dominance proved nearly untouchable. It's fun to imagine alternate realities. Bulls finishing every season at the top, Rockets contending in vain, perhaps even an undefeated dynasty. Fans still argue today, wondering which team would win in a hypothetical finals matchup. Bulls versus Rockets, MJ versus the Dream. Who takes it? Drop your pick in the comments. It's debates like this that keep basketball alive, letting us relive the magic and relive legendary nights like January 11th, 1997. Michael Jordan's January 11th, 1997 performance wasn't just a game, it was a statement. Against Barkley, Olajuwon, and Drexler, he reminded the world why he's the GOAT. Legendary moments like this define basketball history. Like, subscribe, and join First 5 Hoops for more epic rivalries and unforgettable NBA moments.